Chapter 4. A Message. Kobe stood gawking at the place the Whitehead had been while the elf and dwarf laughed and danced in celebration. Eventually, they calmed down enough for Kobe to ask, "How did she do that?" The question seemed to amuse Ruby, a smirk appearing on her round face. "Do what?" she replied. "How did she fix my nose and where did she go?" he said, still in disbelief. "It's a little tricky to explain," answered Solomon. "The Whiteheads are digital animations of matter in a specified location. They don't actually exist when we spoke to her. Think of her more as a physical hologram. The Whiteheads can appear in any location, do what they need to do, and then deanimate. Just like that. As for your nose, well, that's just the latest and greatest Prism tech. Nanobots." Kobe stared back at Solomon with an expression of utter confusion. Should have just said teleportation and magic, Ruby said in his mind. Should have just said teleportation and magic, Ruby said in his mind. He's just a dumb country kid, remember? "Hey, I heard that," yelled Kobe, making Ruby gasp in surprise once more. "Doing what?" answered Kobe crossly. "How can you hear what we are thinking?" she said without speaking aloud. "I don't know, Kobe hesitated. He wasn't sure if he wanted them to know. "You've what?" asked Solomon. "You can tell us." Kobe took a deep breath. "I've been hearing voices my whole life," he said in a rush. Kobe waited for the laughter to start, just like everyone else in Jinda had done. "Voices like ours?" asked Solomon via the mind link. "No, they are different," answered Kobe, surprised by Solomon's reaction. "It's not a conversation. They just call out my name." "They say your name? That's weird," commented Ruby internally. "Yeah, whenever I go near anything technological, the voices start and bad things tend to happen." "Bad things?" asked Solomon. "What kind of bad things?" The story came out of Kobe so quick he had a hard time catching his breath between sentences. He told them about the TV that had once been in his grandmother's house. When Kobe was 4 years old, Petunia had bought a TV and strictly forbade him from going near it, going so far as to unplug it from the wall. Becoming instantly curious about something he was not allowed to do or any repercussions, Kobe moved towards the TV while Petunia was outside in the garden. As Kobe approached, a voice called out his name. Glancing around the room, Kobe tried to find the source. It called out again, right in the center of his head, louder this time. Kobe saw that the TV turned on by itself, the black screen illuminating and words printing across the screen. "Kobe, Kobe, 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 Kobe." The white text quickly filled the black screen and the voices in his head multiplied. Hypnotized, Kobe moved towards the TV, the voices now like a choir chanting his name as the text printed out faster and faster. So entranced was Kobe that he did not see his grandmother in the doorway. Her shrieking was not heard over the choir of voices. It was only until the smoke started billowing out of the top of the television and his grandmother pushed the TV sideways away from him, sending it crashing onto the floor and erupting in flames, did the spell break. "After I broke my grandma's TV, she banned all technology from her house," Kobe went on to say. "All through primary and high school, I was either blowing up computers or melting people's mobile phones or tablets. I'm even banned from going into stores and shops, as most have technology I could destroy. Even this library. See?" said Kobe, pointing at the image of his face in the window. As Solomon and Ruby viewed the picture, Kobe felt a sense of release to finally be able to tell someone about it. Solomon and Ruby looked back from the picture to Kobe. "You're not allowed to go into the library?" asked Ruby. "Because you'll destroy the tech inside?" "That's right," said Kobe. "I'm pretty popular in Jinda, as you can imagine," he said, pointing at his bloody face. Ruby and Solomon both laughed, making Kobe get a tiny burst of happiness. "Who did that to you?" asked Ruby, her expression becoming serious. "Someone who's made my life hell since I've been in Jinda," replied Kobe. "That's why I was on my way too." Kobe stopped himself, glancing up at the bridge. "Go on," said Solomon. "You can tell us." Kobe did not want to share what he was about to do, even if they were being nice to him. "Forget it," he said dismissively. "I need to go. I won't be able to go to the Prism Festival. You should take the pass." He felt his face flush with embarrassment. "We can't get in without you," said Ruby. "Remember what the Whitehead told us? Besides, I'm very interested in these voices, and why our mind links aren't affected like other technology's been." "Good point," said Solomon. If what you've said is true about blowing things up, why haven't our heads popped? Kobe shuddered at the thought, but remained determined to finish what he came into town to do. Here, he dropped the pass to the festival on the ground. Take it if you want. I can't go. It was nice meeting you, and began walking away to the bridge. Hey, shouted Solomon from behind him. You can't leave us. You're our ticket to getting backstage. Find another way, said Kobe. I have something really important to do. Kobe felt a hand clasp on his shoulder and saw Ruby beside him. Well, we're coming too. You can't get rid of us that easily. An arm ran around Kobe's shoulder. Kobe glanced his other way to see Solomon embracing him. That's right. We're a team now. Kobe shook both of them off. I'm not going to the festival, he said angrily. I can't go. I can't go anywhere. My grandmother won't allow it, even if I wanted to. Besides, I don't. I don't want to be here anymore. Solomon and Ruby stared at him, puzzled. Why do you let your grandmother tell you what to do? Asked Solomon. Kobe felt instantly deflated. I have to. You don't want to know, said Kobe, feeling flustered. You don't have to do the things your grandma tells you to do, Kobe, said Ruby. My parents tried that on me, and you know what I did? What? Said Kobe, exasperated. I ran away, she said. I haven't seen them for at least 5 years. They tried to marry me off to this rich ranker. When I refused, when they told me I didn't have a choice, I ran. You can run away too, Kobe, said Solomon supportively, with us. You don't have to go alone. I ran away from home as well. I wanted to escape the drugs, violence, and racism of where I lived. Kobe glanced between them, in two minds about what to do, running away from his reality or run away with these two strangers. You could even go inside the library if you wanted to, suggested Ruby. Let's stick it to your grandma and the people in this town. Kobe's mind swirled. He'd never crossed his grandmother intentionally before. She had built a life of fear for Kobe to obey. He felt his hand being pulled and realized Ruby was leading him towards the library. Wait, no, cried Kobe, trying to free himself, but Solomon quickly moved behind him and began to push. Come on, let's go inside. Let's do something you're not allowed to do. The elfin dwarf pulled and pushed Kobe inside the library. The smell of dust and paper was overwhelming to Kobe, who'd never stepped foot inside. See, said Ruby, there's nothing to worry about. Kobe peered around the high shelves of books, each seeming to call out to him like a lure of forbidden knowledge. His hazel eyes fell onto a row of computers along the far wall. Solomon seemed to follow Kobe's eyes and began pushing him towards the computers. Let's see if those voices happen, he said excitedly. Wait, no, began Kobe, but Ruby quickly led him as Solomon pushed him till they were in front of the computers. 4 black monitors reflected the trio. Any voices? Asked Solomon. Kobe was about to speak when the first monitor screen printed out a word in all caps. Kobe has, printed the second computer. Finally, printed the third. Come, finished the fourth. Whoa, exclaimed Solomon. Tech knows you all right. Long have we waited, printed the computers. Kobe's head swam. Don't just stand there, Kobe. Talk to it, said Ruby impatiently. What do you mean, talk to it? He replied flummoxed. Ask how long it's been waiting, suggested Solomon. How long have you been waiting? Said Kobe, feeling foolish. Since your arrival, Kobe. My arrival? He repeated, confused. You must seek Abe. Ruby let out an excited shriek, making Kobe jump. Who is that? He asked. That's why the Whitehead was so excited to see you, she exclaimed. I don't understand, said Kobe, shaking his head. The Whiteheads are made by Abe Sue, explained Solomon. He's an inventor and creator of the Prism Music Festival. He makes technology that changes the world. He's made the MindLink, the Z, the HoloCycle, and heaps of other cool stuff. The fact that you could hear what the Whitehead was thinking means you have connection no one else has. I wonder if it thought you could be. Kobe is the singularity. Solomon and Ruby stared at Kobe in disbelief. The what? He asked, wondering what a singularity was. The one who changes. Changes? He puzzled. Changes what? What Earth will become. This is some kind of joke, right? He said with a forced laugh, wishing in Solomon and Ruby's faces would stop looking at him like that. This is reality, Kobe. Gather the lost edges. Save us from destruction. I'm supposed to save the world? Stammered Kobe with a nervous laugh. You were made to. It is by design, my child of primary. A pain began to throb in Kobe's head. "Who are you?" he managed to ask. "I am the mother." The computer monitors began to flicker. "The portal is open. Gather the lost edges." The monitors began to spark and the smell of smoke touched Kobe's nose. He felt his vision blurry as all the screens printed out a final message. "You must seek Abe." The computer monitors all made a simultaneous popping noise, and smoke billowed out from each of them. In a daze, Kobe felt himself being led out of the library at speed, his mind racked with pain as his senses became distorted to what was happening around him. He could hear Ruby saying something as though she was underwater. An angry face flashed in Kobe's vision. "Toady," came a voice. "Toady," it repeated. "Kobe," shouted Solomon, shaking him back to reality. The elf's concerned face came into focus and the pain in his head subsided. "Sorry, Kobe began to say, realizing they were in the library car park. "Don't worry about it. I'm just glad you're all right. Hey, Ruby, where are you going?" he asked the dwarf, who was still running away. "We need to get out of here, Solomon. That librarian will kill us," said Ruby. "You can't leave him, Ruby. We need to stay together," exclaimed Solomon. Ruby stopped and came back. "Where do you live, Kobe?" she asked, flustered. "It's that way," he gestured. "A few minutes that way." "We need to get him somewhere safe, Ruby. Let's take the back streets and lose them," said Solomon. "But our hotel is on the main street of town, and back past the—" began Ruby. "There they are!" shrieked the librarian. Kobe gathered himself up and began to run with the elfin dwarf. "Those freaks let the Dumar boy inside," he heard the librarian say. The trio began running across the car park and down the side streets. "You'll pay for this," Kobe heard the librarian shout, sounding further away. They managed to escape the angry librarian and came to the black double-story house. "That's it," puffed Kobe, gesturing towards it. Tall rose bushes were spread along the house's perimeter and into the neighboring blocks. They moved quickly towards the house as Kobe abruptly halted and stopped Ruby and Solomon. "You can't come any further. It's best you leave before," he wheezed through a stitch. "What? Why? Before what?" "Kobe Dumar!" shrieked a voice from behind, making them all jump. He slowly turned around and saw his grandmother standing in the doorway. "Inside! Now!"